My name is Austin Carter. I was 29 years old. And for most people looking at my life from the outside, everything seemed ordinary. I had a steady job, a small apartment, and a marriage that everyone thought was successful. Everyone except my wife. That was the part nobody knew. My wife, Emily, and I had been married for 4 years. When we first met in college, she was the person who made me believe I could build something meaningful. She laughed at my stupid jokes, believed in my ideas, and told me she didn't care about money or status. "You're different, Austin," she used to say. "You're the kind of person people can trust." I believed her. Maybe that was my mistake because somewhere along the way the woman who once held my hand started letting go. The night everything changed was supposed to be simple. Our old college class reunion, Emily spent 2 hours getting ready. She changed dresses 3 times, checked her phone constantly, and kept asking me if I thought people would notice us. Notice us? I asked while fixing my watch. Why wouldn't they? She looked at me for a second. Then she smiled. Not the kind of smile that made me feel loved. The kind that made me feel like she was hiding something. "Austin, you know what I mean?" I frowned. "No, I don't." She picked up her purse. "Just don't embarrass me tonight." That sentence stayed in my head the entire drive. Don't embarrass me. I didn't ask what she meant. I should have. When we arrived at the reunion, almost everyone was already there. Old classmates surrounded Emily immediately. "Austin. Emily, you two finally came. Emily, you look amazing. You're still together. That's impressive." I smiled politely. But I noticed something. Nobody asked me anything. They asked Emily about her career, her friends, her lifestyle. I was just standing next to her like an accessory. Then Mark Wilson walked over. He was one of our old classmates. Back in college, he was the guy everyone thought would become successful. And apparently they were right. He wore an expensive suit, had a luxury watch, and everyone gathered around him. "Austin," Mark said with a laugh. "Man, it's been years." "Yeah, good to see you." He looked me up and down. "So, what are you doing now?" Before I could answer, Emily spoke. "Oh, Austin keeps things simple." Her tone was strange. I looked at her. "What does that mean?" She laughed. "I'm just saying he's never been ambitious." A few people became quiet. I forced a smile. "Emily." But she continued. "You know, some people are just comfortable staying where they are." Mark raised his eyebrows. "That's rough." Emily took a drink. Then she said the words that changed everything. "At least I learned something." I looked at her. "What?" She looked around at everyone. Then she smiled. "Marrying Austin was the biggest mistake of my life." The room went silent. For a moment I thought I heard her wrong. "What did you say?" Emily didn't look at me. "You heard me." A few people awkwardly looked away. Others pretended they didn't care, but everyone did. My wife had just destroyed me in front of everyone. I stared at her. "Emily, are you serious?" She sighed. "Austin, don't act surprised. We both know this marriage isn't what I wanted." My chest tightened for years. 4 years of supporting her. 4 years of putting my own dreams aside when she needed help. And this was how she saw me. A mistake. Mark shook his head. "Emily, maybe that's a little harsh." She shrugged. "No, I'm just being honest." I laughed quietly. Not because it was funny, because I suddenly realized something. I had spent years trying to prove I was enough for someone who had already decided I wasn't. Then Emily looked at me. "You're not angry?" I stared back. "No." She seemed surprised. "What?" I picked up my jacket. "Because tonight I finally understand." "Understand what?" I looked at the woman I once loved. "That I've been fighting for a marriage you already gave up on." Before she could answer, the doors of the private room opened. Everyone turned. A woman walked in. The entire room changed. People stopped talking. Even Mark looked nervous. I recognized her immediately. Sophia Bennett, the CEO of Bennett Global Holdings, a woman known across the country as the coldest business leader in the industry. People called her the Ice Queen. She was young, powerful, and impossible to impress. Nobody knew why she was there until she walked directly toward me. Emily looked confused. "Austin." Sophia stopped in front of me. Then she looked at everyone in the room. Her voice was calm, but everyone heard it. I heard someone say marrying him was a mistake. Nobody spoke. Sophia looked at Emily. Then she said, "That's interesting." She stepped closer to me because meeting him was the luckiest thing that ever happened to me. The entire room froze. Emily's face changed. For the first time that night, she looked afraid. And for the first time in years, I felt like someone finally saw me. The room stayed silent after Sophia's words. Nobody knew how to react, including me. I looked at the woman standing beside me. Sophia Bennett. The same Sophia Bennett whose company appeared on the cover of every business magazine. The same woman people described as emotionless. The woman who had rejected countless partnerships because she believed nobody was good enough. And now she was standing beside me in front of everyone defending me. Emily was the first person to speak. She forced a laugh. "Okay, this is unexpected." Sophia turned toward her. "What is?" Emily looked at me, then back at Sophia. "You showing up here and saying things like that?" Sophia's expression didn't change. "I didn't say anything unusual." She looked around the room. "I simply said the truth." A few people exchanged looks. Nobody expected Sophia Bennett to take my side. Emily crossed her arms. "You barely know him." That sentence made Sophia's eyes narrow slightly. And for the first time that night, I saw emotion on her face. Not anger, something deeper. Disappointment. "You're right," Sophia said. "I don't know every detail of his life." She paused. "But I know enough." Emily laughed. "Enough? You don't know what our marriage is like." Sophia looked at her. "No, I don't." Then she looked at me. "But I know what kind of person Austin is." My heart skipped because nobody had said that about me in a long time, not even myself. Emily noticed everyone watching. She lowered her voice. "Sophia, this is between my husband and me." Sophia smiled slightly. "Then why did you make it everyone's business?" Emily froze. Nobody expected that answer. Sophia continued. "You stood in front of your friends and called your husband the biggest mistake of your life." She glanced at the people around us. "Now you're upset because someone responded." Nobody said anything. Emily's face turned red. "You don't understand." Sophia nodded. "You're right. I don't understand." Then she stepped closer to me. "I don't understand how someone can have a person like Austin beside them and still fail to see his value." Those words hit harder than I expected because deep down I had been asking myself the same question for years. Where did things go wrong? When did I become someone my own wife was ashamed of? A waiter passed by with drinks. Emily grabbed one. "You're making him sound like some kind of hero." Sophia looked at me. Then she answered calmly. "No, he doesn't need to be a hero. He just needs someone who appreciates him." The room became uncomfortable because everyone knew who she was talking about. Emily looked at me. "Austin, are you really going to stand there and let a stranger talk about our marriage?" I looked at her. A few years ago, I would have apologized. I would have tried to fix everything. I would have worried about hurting her feelings. But tonight was different because tonight she had shown me exactly where I stood. "I'm not letting her talk about our marriage." Emily raised her eyebrows. "Then what?" I took a breath. "I'm listening to someone say things I should have heard from you." Her expression changed. "Austin." "No." I shook my head. "For years I kept wondering why you stopped looking at me the way you used to." I laughed softly. "Now I know." Emily looked away. Sophia watched quietly. She didn't interrupt. She didn't try to control the situation. She just stayed beside me. And somehow that meant more. Then Mark suddenly spoke. "Austin, wait." Everyone looked at him. He smiled awkwardly. "I think there's something everyone should know." I frowned. "What?" Mark looked at Sophia. "You two know each other." Sophia didn't answer immediately. That made everyone even more curious. Emily noticed. "What does that mean?" Sophia finally looked at me. "Austin never told you." My heart sank. "Told me what?" Sophia looked at Emily about the night he saved my company. The room went silent again. I immediately shook my head. "Sophia, don't." But she continued, "No, I think they should know." Emily stared at me. "What is she talking about?" I didn't answer because I never wanted anyone to know. 3 years ago, before Sophia became the CEO of Bennett Global Holdings, her company was almost destroyed by a massive financial mistake. I was working as a junior analyst at the time. I discovered something wrong in their numbers. A mistake that could have cost the company hundreds of millions. I reported it. Nobody listened. So, I personally contacted Sophia. She was a young executive fighting against people inside her own company. Everyone thought she was going to fail, but I believed she could fix it. I gave her the information. I helped her find the problem. And then I disappeared. I never asked for money. I never asked for a favor. I just did what I thought was right. Sophia looked at everyone. "When Austin helped me, he didn't know who I was." Mark looked shocked. "He helped you before you were famous." Sophia nodded. "Yes." Emily looked at me. You never told me this. I shrugged. Because it wasn't important. Sophia immediately responded. That's exactly who Austin is. Everyone looked at her. He does good things and acts like they don't matter. She looked at me. But they matter. For the first time that night, I didn't know what to say because I wasn't used to being appreciated. Then Sophia reached into her purse. She pulled out a small card and handed it to me. What's this? My personal number. I looked confused. I already have your office contact. She shook her head. That's not what I mean. The room became quiet. Sophia looked directly into my eyes. From now on, if you need anything, call me. Emily stared at her. What? Sophia answered without hesitation, because I owe him. Then she paused, and because I don't want someone like him to keep thinking he has no value. Those words stayed with me. After the reunion ended, I walked outside alone. I thought the night couldn't get more complicated. I was wrong, because when I reached my car, Sophia was waiting. Austin. I turned around. What are you doing here? She looked at me seriously. I need to tell you something. What? She hesitated. Then she said, I didn't come to this reunion by accident. I froze. What do you mean? Sophia looked at me. I came because I heard what happened to you. My heart tightened. Who told you? She was silent for a moment. Then she answered, Emily. I stared at her. What? Sophia's voice became colder. She contacted me 2 weeks ago. Why? Sophia looked at me. She wanted me to see how unsuccessful you were. I felt like the ground disappeared beneath me. But Sophia's next words shocked me even more. She made one mistake. What mistake? Sophia stepped closer. She forgot that I already knew exactly who you were. And that was when I realized. Tonight wasn't the end of my humiliation. It was the beginning of Emily discovering what she had lost. I stood beside my car, unable to move. Sophia's words kept repeating in my mind. She wanted me to see how unsuccessful you were. My own wife had contacted the most powerful woman I knew just to prove I wasn't good enough. I looked at Sophia. Why didn't you tell me? She didn't answer immediately. Because I wanted to see if you would tell me yourself. I frowned. Tell you what, that you were unhappy. Her answer surprised me. I laughed quietly. Sophia, I'm not your employee. You don't need to analyze me. For the first time, her cold expression softened. I know. Then why? She looked away for a second. Because you're always pretending everything is fine. That sentence hit me harder than I expected, because she was right. I had spent years pretending. Pretending Emily's comments didn't hurt. Pretending her distance didn't bother me. Pretending I didn't notice how she stopped introducing me proudly. Sophia crossed her arms. You know what bothered me the most? What? She called you ordinary. I stayed silent. Sophia continued. Do you know how many people try to get close to me because of my company? Thousands. How many people helped me before they knew my name? She looked at me. One. I didn't know what to say. Sophia. No, Austin. Let me finish. Her voice wasn't loud, but it carried weight. When I met you, I was losing everything. I remembered. 3 years ago, Sophia Bennett wasn't the untouchable CEO everyone feared today. She was a young executive surrounded by people waiting for her failure. I remembered the first time I saw her. She was sitting alone in a conference room after midnight, looking through hundreds of documents. She looked exhausted, but she refused to give up. I had walked in because I found something wrong. Austin, you're telling me my entire financial report is wrong. That's what the numbers say. She looked at me suspiciously. You're a junior analyst. Why should I believe you? I remember my answer. Because I'm not trying to impress you. And what are you trying to do? Prevent you from losing everything? At the time, I didn't know that one sentence would change both our lives. Sophia found the mistake. She saved her company, and within a year, she became the youngest CEO in her industry. But after that night, we lost contact until now. You remembered me all this time? I asked. Sophia looked surprised. Austin, how could I forget? I looked down. Most people do. She immediately shook her head. That's because they never really saw you. The words were simple, but they hurt because they were true. Then my phone rang. Emily, I looked at the screen. Sophia noticed. You're going to answer? I hesitated. I should. Sophia nodded. Then answer. I picked up. Emily. Her voice came immediately. Austin, where are you? I'm outside. Come home. We need to talk. I almost laughed. A few hours ago, she had destroyed me in front of everyone. Now she wanted to talk about what? There was silence. Then she said about tonight. I waited. I didn't mean what I said. I closed my eyes. That was the sentence I had heard too many times. You didn't mean it. Austin, I was upset. You looked pretty calm when you said it. Austin, no. I wasn't angry. That surprised me. I was just tired. Do you know what hurt the most? She didn't answer. It wasn't that you insulted me. Then what? It was realizing you actually believed it. Silence. Emily's voice became softer. Can we please talk face to face? I looked at Sophia. She didn't tell me what to do. She just waited. I'll come home. After I hung up, Sophia spoke. You still love her? It wasn't a question. I looked at her. I don't know. Sophia nodded. That's fair. You're not angry? No. What? She looked at me. Because I know what it feels like to hold on to something you're not ready to lose. That answer surprised me. The woman everyone called emotionless understood more than anyone. Before I left, Sophia stopped me. Austin. I turned. Yes. She hesitated, then said, don't let anyone convince you that being kind means being weak. I smiled slightly. Thanks. She looked at me. And Austin? Yeah. Tomorrow come to my office. I frowned. What? Because I have a proposal for you. What kind of proposal? Her expression became serious, one that will change how everyone sees you. I drove home that night with 1,000 thoughts in my mind. When I opened the door, Emily was sitting on the couch. She looked different, not confident like before, not arrogant. She looked nervous. Austin. Yeah. She stood up. I made a mistake. I placed my keys down. What mistake? She swallowed, thinking I knew everything about you. I stared at her. For years I wanted to hear those words, but now they felt too late. Emily walked closer. I don't want to lose you. I looked at her. That silence told me more than any answer could. For years I had imagined this moment. I imagined her apologizing. I imagined her realizing she had hurt me. I imagined her telling me that I was the person she always wanted. But standing there looking at her hesitation, I understood something. Sometimes the hardest truth was not being rejected. It was realizing you had been fighting alone. Austin. Emily finally spoke. I did love you. I looked at her. Did she look down? I do. I shook my head. You're not sure. Her eyes became red. I'm confused. I almost smiled, confused. That was the word people used when they didn't want to admit the truth. Emily, you stood in front of everyone and said marrying me was the biggest mistake of your life. I was angry. No, I interrupted. You were honest. She looked hurt, but I continued. That's what makes it worse. Emily sat down. I never wanted to hurt you, but you did. I know. And the worst part is I paused. You didn't even notice until someone else valued me. Emily looked at me. That sentence hit her because it was true. If Sophia hadn't appeared tonight, would Emily have regretted anything? Probably not. She would have continued believing I was lucky to have her. Austin, I know I treated you badly. I stayed quiet. I know I stopped appreciating what you did. She looked at me, but I never thought you would actually leave. I stared at her. That sentence explained everything. She wasn't afraid of losing me before because she thought I would always stay. I had become something she assumed would never disappear. Why didn't you think I would leave? She didn't answer. I already knew. Because I had spent years proving I wouldn't. The next morning I went to Bennett Global Holdings. Sophia's assistant greeted me immediately. Mr. Carter, Miss Bennett is waiting for you. I was surprised already. The assistant smiled. She doesn't make people wait. That sounded exactly like Sophia. When I entered her office, she was already working. No unnecessary small talk. No fake politeness, just Sophia being Sophia. Sit. I sat across from her. You said you had a proposal. She closed the file in front of her. I want you to join Bennett Global. I frowned. What? I want you as my strategic advisor. I laughed. Sophia, I appreciate that, but I'm not qualified for that position. She looked at me. There it is. What? That. She leaned forward. You still underestimate yourself. I looked away. I'm being realistic. No. Her voice became firm. You're repeating what other people made you believe. I didn't respond. Sophia continued. When I built this company, everyone told me I was too young. She paused. When I made mistakes, they said I wasn't capable. She looked directly at me. But one person looked at my situation and saw a solution. I knew who she meant. You. I sighed. Sophia. No. She stood up. Austin, I'm not offering you a job because I feel sorry for you. She walked around the desk. I'm offering because I know exactly what you can do. I looked at her. You really believe that? She answered immediately. Yes. That one word felt heavier than any speech. Because she didn't hesitate. Meanwhile, Emily was dealing with something completely different. By noon, everyone from the reunion knew what happened. The same people who laughed at me were suddenly sending messages. Hey Austin, we should catch up. Austin, I didn't know you worked with Sophia Bennett. Austin, that was impressive. I looked at my phone and laughed. Yesterday they saw me as a failure. Today they wanted to know me. But I wasn't interested because their opinions had changed only after my value became obvious. That night Emily called, Austin, can we meet? I answered, why? I need to tell you something. I was quiet. Then I agreed. We met at a small restaurant near our old neighborhood. Emily looked nervous. I heard about Sophia's offer. Yeah. She really respects you. Yes. She looked down. I'm sorry. I waited. I'm sorry I didn't see it before. I didn't say anything. Emily looked at me. Do you hate me? No. She looked surprised. Then what do you feel? I thought about it, disappointed. Her eyes filled with tears. Because I hurt you? Because you only realized my worth after someone else pointed it out? She had no response. Then she said something unexpected. I was jealous. I frowned. Of Sophia? She nodded. She walked into that room and immediately saw something I ignored for years. What? Emily looked at me. You. I stayed silent. She continued. I spent years looking for someone better. Her voice broke and I didn't realize I already had someone good. For a moment, I felt the old version of myself wanting to forgive everything. The Austin who loved her. The Austin who would do anything to save our marriage. But that man was tired and he wasn't coming back. Emily, she looked at me. I hope you find happiness. Her face changed. Austin, but I can't keep waiting for someone to choose me. Those words ended something between us. Not with anger. Not with revenge. Just acceptance. When I left the restaurant, my phone rang. Sophia, I answered. Hello, Austin. Her voice sounded different. What happened? Nothing. You're lying. I smiled. You always know. Yes. There was a pause. Then she said, come tomorrow. What? I want to show you something. What? Her voice softened. Something that proves you were never ordinary. I looked at the city lights ahead. For the first time in years, I wasn't wondering why I wasn't enough. I was wondering what my life could become. And I had a feeling Sophia Bennett was about to change everything. The next morning, I arrived at Bennett Global Holdings earlier than expected. I wasn't sure why I felt nervous. I had walked into important meetings before. I had presented reports to executives. I had handled pressure. But somehow entering Sophia Bennett's company felt different. Maybe because for the first time I wasn't walking into a room where people were judging me. I was walking into a room where someone actually believed in me. Sophia's assistant greeted me. Mr. Carter, Ms. Bennett is waiting in the conference room. I nodded. When I entered, I immediately noticed something unusual. The entire executive team was there. Senior managers, department heads, board members, everyone looked at me. I stopped. Sophia, she was standing at the front of the room. Come as always. Come in, Austin. I walked closer. What's going on? She looked at everyone. Then she answered. Today, I'm introducing the person who will lead our new strategic development division. A few executives looked surprised. Then Sophia turned toward me. Austin Carter. The room went silent. I thought I heard wrong. Wait. I lowered my voice. Sophia, we only talked about an advisor position. I changed my mind. What? She looked at me because I realized you're capable of more. Before I could respond, one of the executives raised his hand. A man named Richard Cole. He had worked at Bennett Global longer than anyone. Miss Bennett with respect. Sophia looked at him. Yes. Richard glanced at me. Are we really placing someone with no executive background in charge of a division? The room became tense. I expected Sophia to explain. Instead, she asked, Richard, what makes someone qualified? He hesitated. Experience, leadership, results. Sophia nodded. Good answer. Then she looked at me. Austin, can you tell everyone how many times you warned this company about the investment risk 3 years ago? The executives looked confused. Richard frowned. What does that have to do with this? Sophia ignored him. I answered for times. And how many people listened? None. Sophia looked around the room and what happened? Nobody spoke because they knew that investment almost destroyed the company. Sophia continued. Austin saw the problem before anyone else. Richard crossed his arms. That was years ago. Sophia smiled slightly. Exactly. She looked at him. Years ago, before he had a title, before he had power, before anyone cared who he was. Her voice became colder. He was right when nobody was willing to listen. The room was silent. Then Sophia said, that is leadership. Nobody argued because nobody could. After the meeting ended, I followed Sophia into her office. You didn't have to do that. She turned around. Do what? Defend me? Her expression softened. Austin. She walked closer. I'm not defending you. Then I'm reminding them of what? She looked at me that they were wrong about you. I looked away. You make it sound easy. What? Believing in myself. Sophia was quiet for a moment, then she said, it isn't easy. I looked at her. She continued. But you spent years believing in everyone else. That sentence stopped me because she was right. I believed Emily could achieve anything. I believed my coworkers deserved opportunities. I believed people could change. But I never believed the same thing about myself. Sophia sat down. There's something else you should know. What? Emily contacted me again. I frowned. What? She wants to meet. I sighed. What did you say? I said it was your choice. I looked at her. You didn't tell her anything. No. What? Sophia smiled. Because unlike her, I don't decide your life for you. That answer surprised me. Sophia Bennett was powerful enough to control almost everything around her. But with me she gave me a choice. Later that afternoon I met Emily outside her office. She looked different. Not the confident woman from the reunion. She looked like someone who had lost something important. Austin. She looked at me. I heard about your promotion. It's not a promotion. It's more than that. I didn't argue. Emily took a breath. I want to apologize. You already did. No. She shook her head. I apologized because I was afraid. I waited. This time I want to apologize because I finally understand. I looked at her. What do you understand? That I spent years wanting you to become someone else. She lowered her eyes and I never stopped to appreciate who you already were. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she asked, do you still love me? That question was harder than I expected because the answer wasn't simple. I had loved her a lot, but love wasn't always enough. I cared about you. She looked hurt. Cared? Yes. I took a breath, but love shouldn't feel like constantly proving you deserve to stay. Tears formed in her eyes. I know. No, Emily. I shook my head. You know now that difference mattered. She reached for my hand. I gently moved away. Not because I hated her. Because I finally respected myself. That night, Sophia and I attended a company event. Everyone there knew who I was now. But something strange happened. I realized I didn't care about their opinions anymore. During the event, a reporter approached Sophia. Miss Bennett, people are curious about your relationship with Mr. Carter. I immediately became uncomfortable, but Sophia didn't avoid the question. She looked at me then answered. He is someone I trust. The reporter smiled. Only trust. Sophia paused. For the first time the Ice Queen looked uncertain. Then she said, he is the person who reminded me that success means nothing if you have nobody to share it with. The reporter looked surprised. So was I. Sophia turned toward me and quietly said, Austin, I hope one day you'll see yourself the way I see you. I looked at her. What? Her answer was simple. Because then you'll understand why meeting you was my greatest luck. And at that moment I realized something. Emily lost faith in me because she only saw what I didn't have. Sophia believed in me because she saw everything I did. But I didn't know yet that the biggest challenge was still coming because someone from my past was about to return. And they were determined to destroy everything Sophia and I had built. The next few days changed everything. For the first time in years, I woke up without feeling like I had to prove myself. I wasn't trying to convince Emily that I was enough. I wasn't trying to make people respect me. I was simply working. And strangely enough, that was when everything started falling into place. At Bennett Global, people slowly stopped seeing me as the guy Sophia brought in. They started seeing my results. My first project was a strategy plan for a company expansion that had been delayed for almost a year. Most executives thought it was impossible. The previous team had already failed twice. Richard Cole, the executive who questioned me during my first meeting, was especially doubtful. You understand this is not a college project, right? I looked at him. I know this company loses millions if your plan fails. I know. He leaned back. Then why are you so confident? I looked at the documents in front of me. Because the problem isn't the market. Richard frowned. Then what is it? The people making the decisions. The room became quiet. I continued. Everyone has been trying to compete with our competitors, but nobody asked why customers are leaving. Sophia sat at the end of the table. She didn't say anything. She just watched. 2 weeks later the results came back. The strategy worked. The division that everyone thought was impossible to save became one of the fastest growing areas in the company. Richard was the first person to walk into my office. He stood there awkwardly. I owe you an apology. I looked up. For what? For assuming you weren't qualified. I smiled. You don't have to apologize. He looked surprised. What? Because you judged me based on what you saw. I paused, the same thing everyone else did. Richard became quiet. Then he nodded. I guess we were wrong. After he left, I leaned back in my chair. A year ago, I never imagined people would come to me for advice. A year ago, I was the man my wife was embarrassed to stand beside. Now people were listening. But despite everything changing, there was one thing I couldn't ignore. Emily. She kept calling. Sometimes I answered, sometimes I didn't. Not because I hated her, because I didn't know what to say. One evening, she asked me to meet her. This time I agreed. We sat in the same restaurant where we had talked before, but everything felt different. Emily looked nervous. I found something. I frowned. What? She placed her phone on the table. There was an email from her to Sophia. I looked at it. My expression changed. Emily, I know. She immediately started crying. I know what it looks like. I stared at the screen. The email was from 2 weeks before the reunion. Emily had contacted Sophia. The message was not what I expected. She had asked Sophia to attend the reunion. She had asked Sophia to see the kind of man Austin really is. At first, I thought she wanted to embarrass me, but then I read further. The reason shocked me. Emily had written, I need someone else to tell me if I'm making the biggest mistake of my life. I looked at her. What is this? She wiped her tears. I was scared. Scared? Yes. She looked down. I knew I stopped appreciating you. I stayed silent. I knew I started caring too much about what other people thought. She took a breath, but I didn't know how to fix it. I looked at the email again. So, you brought Sophia into this? I thought. She stopped. What? I thought if someone successful saw you and agreed with me, I could finally let go. My eyebrows tightened. Agreed with you? Emily shook her head quickly. No, that's not what I mean. She looked desperate. I thought she would tell me you weren't the person I remembered. I understood. Emily wanted confirmation. She wanted someone else to say she was right. But instead, Sophia did the opposite. She told you I was wrong. Emily nodded. She told me something I didn't want to hear. What? Emily looked at me. She told me I was the one who failed. The word surprised me because that was exactly what Sophia had shown everyone. Not that I was perfect, but that I deserved to be valued. Emily lowered her voice. Austin, I never wanted to lose you. I looked at her. But you did. She closed her eyes. I know. For a moment, I felt sympathy because I remembered the woman she used to be. The woman who believed in me. The woman who once said she would choose me over everything. But people change. And sometimes love cannot survive those changes. I'm sorry, she whispered. I nodded. I know. Can we start over? I looked at her. That question used to be everything I wanted. Now it felt different. I don't know. Her eyes filled with tears. You don't know? No. I looked out the window because starting over means pretending nothing happened. She didn't speak and I can't do that. When I left the restaurant, Sophia was waiting outside. I stopped. What are you doing here? She held 2 cups of coffee. I guessed you would need one. I smiled. You guessed. She handed me a cup. I know you better than you think. We walked silently for a while. Then Sophia asked, Did she ask you to come back? I nodded. Yes. And I looked at the coffee in my hand. I don't know if I can. Sophia didn't celebrate. She didn't look happy. Instead she said, That's okay. I looked at her. Really? Yes. Why? She smiled softly. Because I don't want you to choose me because someone hurt you. That surprised me. Sophia, I want you to choose yourself first. The woman everyone called cold and heartless was standing there telling me to put myself first. Then my phone rang. It was Sophia's assistant. Her expression changed when she answered. What happened? She listened. Then her face became serious. What? I looked at her. Is something wrong? She ended the call, then looked at me. The board received a complaint. About what? Her eyes became cold again. About you? I frowned. Who filed it? Sophia was silent. Then she said, someone who knows you very well. My heart sank. Who? She looked at me. Emily's father. I froze because I knew exactly what that meant. This was no longer about a broken marriage. Someone was trying to destroy my new life. I stared at Sophia. Emily's father. Sophia nodded. His name is David Parker. I knew that name. Everyone did. David Parker was a successful businessman. He had built his company from nothing and was respected by many people. He was also the reason Emily had changed so much after we got married. At first he treated me like family. Then after a few years, everything changed because I wasn't the kind of son-in-law he wanted. I wasn't a CEO. I didn't own a company. I didn't have a famous last name. To him, I was just a normal guy who married his daughter. And apparently that wasn't enough. What exactly did he accuse me of? Sophia opened the file on her tablet. He claims you manipulated your position at Bennett Global. I frowned. What? He says you used your personal relationship with me to get a high-ranking position. I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was unbelievable. He thinks I used you. Sophia looked at me. Yes. I shook my head after everything. Her expression became colder. That's what people do when they cannot accept the truth. What truth? That you earned your place. The next morning, Sophia called an emergency board meeting. Everyone was there. The atmosphere was different from before. This time, I wasn't the new person being introduced. I was the person everyone was watching. David Parker sat across the table. The moment I entered, he smiled. Not a friendly smile. A victorious one. Austin. I looked at him. Mr. Parker. He leaned back. I'm surprised you came. Why wouldn't I? He glanced at Sophia. Because this meeting is about your future here. Sophia immediately interrupted. No. Everyone looked at her. This meeting is about false accusations against someone who has done nothing wrong. David smiled. Sophia, don't take this personally. I'm not. Her voice was cold. I'm taking it professionally. David looked at me. Austin, I don't hate you. I almost smiled. That's good to hear, but you have to understand something. He folded his hands. You're not supposed to be here. The room became quiet. I looked at him. Excuse me. He continued. You were never part of this world. This world? Yes. He looked around. Executives, leaders, people who make decisions. I stayed silent. You were Emily's husband. He paused. That was your biggest achievement. Those words would have destroyed me before. A few months ago, they would have made me question myself. But not anymore because I finally knew who I was. I looked at him. Are you finished? David frowned. What? I asked if you were finished. The room went silent. Nobody expected me to answer that way. I continued. Because I listened to you explain why you think I don't belong. I stood up. Now let me explain why you're wrong. Sophia looked at me. I continued. I didn't come here because Sophia gave me a chance. David smiled. That's exactly what happened. No. I shook my head. She gave me an opportunity. I looked around the room, but I created the results. Nobody spoke. I placed a folder on the table. This is the full report of my division's performance. Richard opened it. His expression changed because the numbers were undeniable. I looked at David. You think people follow me because Sophia likes me? I shook my head. They follow me because I solve problems nobody else could solve. David's confidence started disappearing. Sophia spoke, and if anyone still believes Austin is here because of me. She stood up. Then they can leave. Everyone looked shocked because they knew Sophia. She valued her company more than anything, and she was willing to risk everything for this. David stared at her. You would do that? Sophia didn't hesitate. Yes. Over him? Sophia looked at me, then answered. No. She turned back over the truth. The meeting ended with David leaving in silence, but the biggest surprise came afterward. Emily called me. I almost didn't answer, but I did. Austin. Her voice was shaking. What happened? I knew immediately, you know. Yes. She was quiet. My father told me. I waited. Then she said, I'm sorry. I closed my eyes. Emily, no. Listen. Her voice cracked. I spent years thinking my family was right about you. I didn't speak. I thought success was about money and status. She paused, but I was wrong. I looked down. Why are you telling me this now? Because I saw something today. What? My father lost. I was silent. He walked into that meeting believing you were nobody. She laughed softly through tears. And he walked out realizing everyone respected you. I didn't answer. Then Emily said, I finally understand. Understand what? That the person I was trying to change. She paused. Was the person everyone else was trying to find. Those words stayed with me. But before I could respond, Sophia called. I answered, Hello, Austin. Her voice sounded serious. What happened? There's something I need to tell you. What? A pause? Then the board approved your position permanently. I smiled. That's good news. Yes, but another pause. But there's something else. What? Sophia's voice became softer. I was asked a question today. What question? Why I fought so hard for you. I stopped walking. What did you say? She was silent for a moment. Then she answered. I told them because losing you would be my biggest regret. My heart skipped. Sophia, I know. Her voice became quiet. I'm not asking you for anything. Then why tell me? Because for years everyone else told you who you were. She paused. I wanted you to hear someone tell you the truth. What truth? Her answer was almost a whisper. You were never a mistake, Austin. I stood there holding my phone. And for the first time I believed it, but I didn't know yet. That Sophia had one more secret. A secret she had kept since the first day we met. I didn't sleep much that night. Not because of the board meeting. Not because of David Parker, not even because of Emily. It was because of Sophia's words. You were never a mistake, Austin. A simple sentence, but for someone who had spent years feeling invisible, it meant more than she probably realized. The next morning I arrived at Bennett Global early. I expected another normal workday, emails, meetings, reports. But when I walked into my office I found Sophia standing there. She was holding a file. You're early. I smiled. So are you. She looked at the file in her hand. I need to tell you something. I sat down. Is this another company problem? She shook her head. No. That made me curious. Then what is it? Sophia placed the file on my desk. I kept something from you. I opened it. Inside were documents from 3 years ago. The same period when I helped her save her company. I looked confused. What is this? Your original analysis. I looked at the papers, my handwriting, my notes, my calculations. You kept these? Sophia nodded. Since that day? What? She was quiet. Then she answered, because that was the first time someone believed in me without wanting anything. I looked at her, Sophia Bennett, the woman who controlled billion-dollar decisions. The woman who made executives nervous, the woman who never showed weakness, and she was telling me that one small act mattered to her. Austin, do you know what everyone saw when they looked at me? I didn't answer. Money. She smiled slightly. Power. She looked down. An opportunity. Then she looked back at me. But you didn't? I was just helping. I know. She nodded. That's why it mattered. The room became quiet. Then she said something I never expected. I didn't come to the reunion because of Emily. I froze. What? Sophia took a breath. I came because I heard you were about to give up on yourself. I stared at her. Oh. Your old coworker told me. I frowned. My coworker? Yes. She looked at me. He said, you were becoming someone you didn't recognize. Because I was tired. Tired of proving myself. Tired of being compared. Tired of feeling like no matter what I did, it wasn't enough. Sophia sat down across from me. Austin, I need you to understand something. What? I didn't choose you because Emily lost you. I looked at her. I chose you because I saw you before anyone else did. Those words stayed with me because that was the difference. Emily loved the version of me she imagined. Sophia respected the person I actually was. Later that afternoon I met Emily one last time. Not because I wanted to restart the relationship, because some endings deserved honesty. She was waiting outside the cafe. When she saw me she smiled sadly. You look different. I sat down. Oh, more confident. I thought about that. Maybe she was right. But confidence wasn't something Sophia gave me. She just reminded me I already had it. I wanted to apologize one more time. I nodded. Okay. Emily looked surprised. That's all. What else should I say? She smiled sadly. I guess I expected you to be angry. I was. She looked down when I thought losing you meant losing my value. Emily's eyes filled with tears. And now I know my value was never yours to decide. She took a deep breath. I really did love you. I know. Then why does it feel like I lost you? Because you did, but I didn't say it. Some things didn't need to be spoken. Emily looked at me. Is it Sophia? I was quiet. She smiled. I knew it. It's not like that. I know. She nodded. She didn't take you away from me. I looked at her. She just showed you what I stopped seeing. I didn't argue because that was the truth. A few months later, my life was completely different. I was leading a successful division at Bennett Global. People respected my decisions. My opinions mattered. But the biggest change wasn't my career. It was me. I no longer needed everyone's approval. Especially not from people who only valued me after seeing someone else value me. One evening, Sophia and I attended a charity event. Unlike the first reunion, I wasn't standing behind someone. I was standing beside someone. A reporter approached us. Mr. Carter, Ms. Bennett. We stopped. People are curious about something. Sophia raised an eyebrow. What? The reporter smiled. How did the most successful businesswoman in the country become close with someone who wasn't part of this world? Before I could answer, Sophia spoke. Because he was never outside this world. The reporter looked confused. Sophia continued, people think success means having the biggest office or the most money. She looked at me. But real success is knowing who you are when nobody is watching. The reporter smiled. That sounds personal. Sophia looked at me. It is. Later that night we stood outside. The city was quiet. Sophia looked at me. You know something? What? When I first met you, you were the only person who didn't care about impressing me. I smiled. And now she stepped closer. Now you're the only person who makes me want to stop pretending I don't need anyone. I looked at her. The woman everyone called the Ice Queen. The woman who never showed emotion was standing in front of me completely honest. Sophia. Yes. Why me? She smiled. Because when everyone else saw what I owned, she paused. You saw who I was. I didn't answer because for the first time in years, I didn't feel like I needed to. My marriage had ended because someone decided I wasn't enough. But my new life began when someone finally reminded me. I always was.